Batting third in left field, Luis Matos. The DH is Jefferson Carroll. Brock Wilken hits fifth at first. Greg Jones in right. Ethan Murray at second. Darian Miller is catching. And Eduardo Garcia bats ninth at shortstop for lefty Thomas Pannone. First pitch of the game on its way. Etzel fouls it back out of play, and we are off and rolling. Wheels up at 6:06 on an overcast Sunday night. Game time temperature listed at 81 degrees. The humidity at about 60%. So it is sticky. As Pannone, lefty on lefty, comes back to the DH Etzel. And that one's down and away, 1-1. Home plate umpire is Dylan Wilson. He's the crew chief. Ty Krause is down at third. Elliot Melton over at first. Umpires in their gray pants with black shirts, black shoes, black hats. Now the 1-1 by Pannone. And Etzel takes upstairs for a ball. It's 2-1. Pannone kind of did a double take. He thought that was good enough to be a strike, and he's right. StatCast shows that was at the top of the zone. So it's 2-1 instead of 1-2. Etzel's 2 for 2 with a walk against Pannone in their head-to-head matchups. 2-1 is fouled away. Pannone is 2-1 with a 4.14 ERA with the Sounds. Tonight his 14th appearance and his 13th start. And he's facing Jacksonville for the third time. And he's pitched into the sixth inning each time he has seen these guys. 2-2 coming back to Etzel. Here it is. And that breaking ball is swung on and missed. Strike three. Got him with a curveball. Out number one. And before Ramirez bats, 10 for ID on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. One away, top of the first inning, and here's Augustine Ramirez, Jacksonville catcher with 3 doubles in the series, and he takes a strike, batting from that right side. They've got 3 lefties in there against Pannone. Lefties have actually done most of the damage off Pannone this year, hitting .328. He's held righties to a .214 average, in large part because one of his best pitches is that cutter that he can run in on the righties. There's a fastball inside. It's 1-1 on Augustine Ramirez. So underway with some cloud cover. I will say even since we came on the air, some of those clouds have broken up. We can see a lot more blue sky and brightness poking through than even about 20 minutes ago. The 1-1 swung on, bounced over the mound, charging at second. Murray backhands it, throws off balance to first in time. It helped that it was Ramirez running. He's not a burner, and Murray makes the play for the second out. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Nashville Sounds Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Nashville Sounds Baseball Club. Here's Davison De Los Santos, right-handed batter with power. He's got a homer in the series, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Slow breaking ball there by Pannone at 73 miles an hour. It was De Los Santos who had a loud moment in Game 2 of the doubleheader last night, getting them on the board. They were down 5-0, and he hit a 3-run homer in the sixth inning off Easton McGee that made it very tight. Sounds held on by a run to get the doubleheader sweep. The 0-1 down and in, and it's 1-1. Sounds have Matos in left, Lara in center, Jones in right, Williams and Wilken on the corners, Garcia and Murray up the middle, with Miller catching, and Carroll the DH again, the 1-1. And it's swung on, yanked foul toward third. Rick Sweet talked about it pregame. It's a night off for Tyler Black. It is a night off for Luke Adams, Eddie's Leonard, Freddie Zamora, Andrick Nava, all in reserve. Sweet talked about Black dealing with some cramping in the doubleheader last night, so he's resting. Plus there's a lefty on the mound, the 1-2 now. And that's off the outside. And Adams got hit by a pitch in each end of the doubleheader last night. And Sweet had found a way during the series in one way or another to get everybody a breather. Even Lara did not play in Game 2 of the doubleheader last night. Here's the 2-2. And it's swung on and foul tip, strike 3. Miller holds on. And Pannone gets another strikeout with that curveball. A 1-2-3 start for Thomas Pannone, and after a half, it's Jacksonville 0 and the Sounds coming up. 6'7", 255 pounds. The Oklahoma native delivers, and Williams lines a base hit to left center. First pitch fastball to Jet, and he wastes no time moving along his streaks. He's reached safely in 10 in a row and hit safely in 9 in a row. That was a middle-in fastball, and Williams turned it right around for a leadoff single. And here's Luis Lara. No score in the opening inning. Lara batting from the right as a switch hitter against the lefty Fulton. 14th appearance and 11th start with Jacksonville for Fulton. Williams runs, pitch up and in, throw to second, Jet slides, he's safe. Got in ahead of the tag by Gage Miller, and Williams now has 20 stolen bases on the year. He joins Lara, who's got 23, Greg Jones, who has 21, 20-plus stolen bases. Jet Williams is in the club and immediately in scoring position. Now the 1-0 to Lara. Fulton coming back after a glance at second, and the 1-0 pitch heads up high for a ball. Fulton is 2-4 with a 5.10 ERA. His 14th appearance and his 11th start. And he's had 2 different stints in the big leagues with the Marlins, making his debut. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is up high for a ball. Sounds were in Jacksonville a month ago. Fulton pitched against the Sounds, gave up 2 runs, 1 earned in 3 2/3 innings. That was the opener of that series. But there were a number of guys who were in the lineup in that game that Fulton is not facing tonight. Tyler Black, Cooper Pratt, Akil Baddoo, Luke Adams, Eddie's Leonard. 3-0 now. And Lara takes outside ball 4. Fulton issues a walk. He's got 29 walks in just shy of 50 innings, so that can be a problem for him at times. He's coming into tonight off of 4 scoreless innings last Sunday against Memphis, where he did not walk anybody. One of only a couple of times this year where he did not issue a free pass. And that was his first game back from the big leagues. Now he deals with Luis Matos, who had the walk-off winner in Game 1 last night. Double steal. Matos takes low. Throw to third. It bounces and gets away. Williams is safe. Cerna backs up the throw. And the Sounds have runners at second and third with nobody out. They are wasting no time tonight putting the wheels in motion. They have jumped on Dax Fulton and catcher Augustine Ramirez. A double steal for Lara and Williams. Now you've got second and third, nobody out. And the 1-0 coming to Matos with the corners coming in a bit on the infield. They'll stay back up the middle. Fulton fires, and Matos yanks one to left. That's a fair ball. Base hit down the line. Williams is in. Lara is in. Matos has a double. Luis Matos burns Jacksonville again. This time it's in the opening inning, and it's 2-0 Sounds right away. 104 off the bat for Matos, just fair down the left field line. Then it got stuck a little bit in the Sounds bullpen. Matos picks up RBIs 22 and 23 on the year in 37 games with the Sounds. And here's Jefferson Caro. Still nobody out in the opening inning. Caro's got a homer in the series. He also had a hit off Fulton last month. The pitch, and that is taken for a strike. It's the 6th consecutive game for Caro as the DH. It's given good run to Darian Miller behind the plate since he's come up from Double-A more than a week ago. Caro's bat is hot as anybody in the Sounds lineup. He's in the cleanup spot, and he takes down low, and it's 1-1. Caro's average at 267. The OPS just under 800. 10 homers and a team-high 48 RBIs for Caro. Matos at second, nobody out. Fulton's 1-1, and Caro bangs it out of play to the right. Jacksonville has Pintar, Hines, and O'Donnell in the outfield left to right. Pauly and De Los Santos on the corners with Cerna and Miller up the middle. And Ramirez catching. Now the 1-2. And Caro fouls it away. The defenses are brought to you by Sun River IT Partners. Let them protect your business technology needs. Contact Sun River IT today for a complimentary second opinion service. Call 615-646-2121 or visit sunriverit.com. Now the 1-2. And Carroll checks on a ball down and away. Did not chase the changeup. Confirmed by Elliott Melton in back of the mound on the appeal. 2-2 on Carroll. We've seen some very eventful first innings in this series from both teams. They've each had a turn getting on the opposing starter right away. 2-2. There goes Matos. Swing and a miss by Carroll. Throw to third. And Matos is saved. And the fourth stolen base of the inning by the Sounds. Carroll strikes out. Matos gets his fifth steal with the Sounds. Now you've got a runner at third with less than 2 down. That changes the dynamic for the Jacksonville infield. We were just talking about that very topic on the pregame show 2 days ago with Ned Yost IV, former Sounds coach, who's now the Brewers outfield and base running coordinator, talking about trying to steal third and the advantage there. It's got risk, no doubt, but the advantage there, if you get to third on a steal with less than 2 down, is so many ways for the batter then to get a run in, and it changes the complexity of the defense. So here's Brock Wilken as the infield comes in part way for Jacksonville. Brock Wilken 4 for 17 with a homer in the series. He was not in the Sounds lineup when they saw Fulton a month ago. Lefty on righty, the pitch. And that's yanked to third, and that's a foul ball. Boy, that was smoked by Wilken. Hanging curveball. 102 off the bat, but foul. And you do get a lot of curveballs when you face Dax Fulton, almost as many as you get fastballs. 36% four-seamer, 34% curveball. Now the 0-1 pitch. And Wilken takes a strike on a slider. Slider, changeup, and sinker also in the mix for Dax Fulton. His heater averages about 94 miles an hour. Batter's sitting at about 200 against it. But you're going to see a lot of breaking stuff. Here's the 0-2. And Wilken takes inside on the fastball. Sounds lead 2-0 here in the first. They've got Matos at third with 1 away. Skies continue to clear a little bit. Everything is shaded in fair ground. Fulton's 1-2 pitch. And Wilken takes down low, 2-2. Got a good look at that curveball. Sounds are wearing Sandlot themed jerseys tonight on the Sandlot night. More on that as we go along, but the Sounds have a different look tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Fulton on the way. And Wilken checks on a ball down low. Did he go? No. Held up on it. Appeal to first confirms it, and it's 3-2. Sounds have a white jersey with the Sandlot across the front in navy blue. The same font and style as the writing that goes with the movie title. Looks like it's written by a young boy. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. And Wilken yanks it foul. Look out over toward third. And the back of the jersey, right above where the Sounds have it tucked in above the belt line, you see the different actors and characters from the Sandlot movie standing along the bottom of the back side of the jersey. Very cool look the Sounds are sporting tonight. Here's the 3-2. And Wilken takes strike 3 called, and he knows it right away. That was a fastball from Fulton, and it was on the outside half. So 2 down, back-to-back Ks for Fulton, and it brings up Greg Jones. Jacksonville in navy blue tonight. White numbers on the back as Jones hits a shot. Back to Fulton, who knocks it down. Picks it up, underhands to first, and gets the out on Jones. That ball was hit pretty hard. Fulton gets out of it. The Sounds are busy at the outset. They get 2 runs here in the first inning. Thomas Pannone has a 2-0 lead to work with now as he faces Graham Pauley, Reese Hines, and Andrew Pintar here in the top of the second. RBIs by Matos on a double down the left field line have Pannone out in front. And the first pitch to Pauley is a broken bat flare to shallow center that parachutes in for a base hit. Loop single by Graham Pauley, his 3rd hit in the series. Came back from Miami, having been optioned by the Marlins earlier in the week. And here comes Hines now. Pannone on Tuesday in the opener of the series pitched into the 6th inning. And there was a moment early where it looked like he might not get out of the opening inning. He threw 32 pitches and gave up 4 runs in the first inning on Tuesday and then did not give up any runs the rest of the way. Hines takes outside for ball. In fact, Jacksonville never scored the rest of the game. After 4 runs in that first inning, Sounds went on to win 8-4 in the opener of that series. Pannone got a no decision. He threw 92 pitches. So all the damage was done in that first inning. Here's a shot up the middle, a base hit by Hines into center. Stayed back on a changeup. Paulie stops at second. And they've got 2 on with nobody out. And here's Andrew Pintar. First time Pannone saw Jacksonville was June the 5th when the Sounds were in Florida last month. 1 month ago, that was 5 2/3 scoreless by Pannone. He walked only 1 and then had 5 1/3 against Jacksonville on Tuesday. So he's had 2 solid outings against these guys this year, especially when you consider how he bounced back from that long first inning here on Tuesday. Pintar the batter, right-handed hitter, and he takes low and in, ball 1. And it's being challenged by Darian Miller.
Pitch is called a
Sounds
ball.
catcher thought it was a strike. This is going to be close on the lower inside corner. Looking at StatCast, it was a strike. Video board shows it to us. It just barely touched that lower inside corner. So the call is overturned. Darian Miller gets his pitcher a strike, and it's 0-1 on Andrew Pintar. 2-0 Sounds in the second. And the 0-1 from Pannone. Here's the pitch, and it is off the inside. 1-1 on Pintar, who is 5 for 13 with a homer. 7 homers for him in 69 games with Jacksonville this year. Even stance, deep in the box, right-handed hitter. And the 1-1 pitch. And that's pulled on the ground foul off the Sounds dugout fence. Yeah, it's the Sandlot night here at First Horizon Park tonight. We're thrilled to have 5 actors from the movie who are here tonight. If you're familiar with the Sandlot, you would like to know that Timmy, Tommy, Bertram, Squints, and DeNunez are here tonight. They all threw out a simultaneous first pitch tonight. And the Sounds wearing those special The Sandlot jerseys. Here's a 1-2 on the way. And Pintar hits a high fly ball out to center. Lara backing up in front of the warning track. Gets under it. Makes the catch. Paulie will tag and go to third. Hines up to second. And the throw there is late. And a little bit off target from Lara. One of the longer throws a center fielder could have to make. And Lara's got a cannon of an arm. But both runners tag up on that fly out to deep center. So 1 away. And here's Gage Miller. Miller's another righty. He's got a 9-game on-base streak, and he's 1 for 4 with a walk tonight. I'm sorry, 1 for 4 with 3 walks, I should say, in the series. Now the pitch, and that's taken for a strike by Gage Miller. There was a special Q&A meet and greet opportunity for fans with those actors from the Sandlot earlier today. And they're here as part of their great work. The 0-1 pitch taken up high for a ball, supporting their charity Play Forever, which is a nonprofit founded by cast members from the film to help remove barriers to youth sports participation. Grant Gelt has joined us before on the broadcast. He played Bertram Grover Weeks in The Sandlot. This one fouled away by Miller down the right field line out of play. And he's a co-founder of Play Forever. So it's great to have 5 actors from that iconic movie, The Sandlot, here at the ballpark tonight. And also support a great cause. One and 2 on Gage Miller. Pannone coming back. And Miller takes low. Second and third, 1 away. Sounds are leading 2-0 here in the second. That meet and greet opportunity, a portion from each pass that was purchased went to Play Forever. The charity formed by those Sandlot actors. The 2-2 to Miller is high, and it's 3-2. Now Pannone ready, third base side of the rubber. Here's the payoff pitch to Gage Miller. And it's swung on, lifted to left. That's trouble. Matos back on the track, and he's got it. Makes the grab. Paulie will tag and go to third. Hines tagging up to third. He scores, and it's a 2-1 ball game. That looked like more trouble than that, though, off the bat for Gage Miller. He just didn't get the full barrel on that cutter. He does drive it deep enough to get a sac fly. So Graham Paulie touches home. Hines tags up. Now you've got 2 down and a runner at third. And the Sounds lead is 2-1. Here's Ethan O'Donnell. O'Donnell 2 for 9 in the series. Left-handed batter. 0 for 2 against Pannone in previous battles. And the pitch is swung on and missed. There's the cutter. 0-1. O'Donnell in the number 8 spot for Jacksonville. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul tip for a strike. And Pannone is ahead 0-2 on back-to-back cutters. That is often his go-to pitch. But we also see Pannone mix up that arsenal quite a bit. Keep guys guessing. He normally has very good command. Does not give out a lot of walks. Makes you earn your way on. Here's a chopper toward third and foul. Pannone's got 20 walks on the year and 54 and a third, so almost 3 times as many innings as walks. Fireworks coming up after the game tonight, capping off the holiday weekend, and there'll be post-game kids round the bases after that, presented by First Horizon on this Sunday Family Fun Day. Timeout called by Miller, the catcher. Sounds will be in Charlotte then on Tuesday through next Sunday into the All-Star break, and then here against Norfolk on July 17th out of the break. 1-2 to O'Donnell, and that's outside for ball 2-2. Sounds enjoying a stretch where they're playing 15 of 21 games at home. This 2-week homestand, then to Charlotte, then back out of the break for 3 against the Norfolk Tides. Here's the 2-2. O'Donnell pulls a curve foul up the right side, and we'll do it again. Meanwhile, Jacksonville heading home, and they will get Durham on Tuesday. And Durham, the top team in the league standings through 2 weeks of this second half. Bulls are 9-2 entering play today. And they got rained out against Gwinnett. 2-2 pitch. Down and away. Good stop by Miller with a runner at third and 2 down. Pannone was not close with that slider, and now it's a full count. O'Donnell hitting .230 in 57 games with Jacksonville. Full count pitch. And it's swung on and fouled away. Sounds will enjoy the day off tomorrow. The typical Monday league-wide off day, and then be in Charlotte on Tuesday night. They've got 5 night games through Saturday and then a day game next Sunday before the All-Star break. 3-2 the count. Pannone again to O'Donnell, and that one is in the dirt. Ball 4. He walked him. So, well, the scoreboard was showing 2-2, now 3-2. Statcast had the count at 3-2. Was that must not have been ball 4. Evidently it was not. Now it's 3-2. Statcast already has a walk for O'Donnell. Now the payoff pitch, and that is swung on and missed, strike 3. So Pannone strikes out O'Donnell, and Jacksonville settles for the 1 run here in the second inning. 1 run on 2 hits with 1 man left, and after an inning and a half, it's the Sounds 2 and Jacksonville 1. Fans, again this season, you can watch the Sounds all season long for free on the Bally Sports Live app. You can also watch Sounds games live and on demand with a subscription to MLB TV or MLB Plus. And select Saturday and Sunday home games like tonight are available locally throughout Middle Tennessee on MyTV30. We welcome those of you who may be watching tonight across the mid-state on MyTV30. Ethan Murray takes ball one from Dax Fulton, leading off the bottom of the second. Sounds lead Jacksonville 2-1. The pitch, and Murray cracks it foul out of play. Murray 1 for 5 with a couple of walks in the series. He was not in the lineup the night the Sounds faced Dax Fulton a month ago. Now the 1-1 pitch, and Murray fouls it away again. Dax Fulton has worked in 3 games for the Marlins this year. His first taste of the big leagues. He was first called up in May. Here's the windup in the pitch, and Murray takes low for a ball. All 3 outings have been in relief. He first faced the Orioles on May the 6th. Gave up 3 runs in long relief, going 4 innings. Here's the 2-2, and it's swung on, bounced slowly by Murray, charging Paulie at third, makes a running throw to first, and he got him. 1 down. Darian Miller now comes up for the Sounds. Fulton was optioned back to Jacksonville the next day. We saw him a couple of weeks later. He faced the Sounds on June the 2nd, then pitched against Gwinnett on June the 9th. Then a week later was called back by Miami, and he pitched twice for the Marlins. June 16th at the Phillies with 2 scoreless innings, and June 22nd against the Rangers with 1 scoreless inning. Miller takes outside, so much better results those next 2 times after the nerves of the big league debut. Fulton going lefty on lefty with Miller. Here's the 1-0, and Darian takes down low. Miller's 6th game with the Sounds, up from Double-A. He's 1 for 12 so far. Left-handed batting catcher. Hands out in front of his chest. Fulton rocks and deals. And the 2-0 is popped up to left field. Pintar comes in, and he gets under it and makes the catch. 2 down. And when Fulton went up in May, he was part of a stretch where the Marlins called up 6 different Jacksonville players in 6 days. Each went up for his major league debut. Joe Mack, William Kempner, Fulton, Heriberto Hernandez, Stephen Jones, and then Robbie Snelling. Garcia takes down low. 6 guys in a 6-day period who went up and made a major league debut for the Marlins. And Fulton was the middle guy in that busy week of transactions. Here's the 1-0 now, and Eduardo Garcia chops it foul to third. Jacksonville managed by former Sound David Carpenter, who goes out of his way when possible to make it a very special moment when he's telling somebody they're going up for their major league debut. Carp very cognizant of what that moment's like for guys. The 1-1 swung on and missed. He went through it himself back in his own playing days. Well, he told Dax Fulton about it after a game by showing up along with their pitching coach Jared Eichhoff at Dax Fulton's apartment. Here's the pitch, and it's high for a ball. The story goes that Jacksonville had a day game the next day, and Fulton was expected to pitch in that game for Jacksonville, so he left their night game the night before to go back and get rest. Well, he comes out of the living room area, or comes out of his bedroom to the living room area, and his manager and pitching coach are at his place. Here's a shot foul by Garcia. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? And they eventually shared the news, making it very personable. That's really cool that Carp does that. And that's how Fulton found out he was going to the big leagues. His manager and pitching coach showed up at where he was living, nearby the ballpark in Jacksonville. Garcia floats one right center, shallow, and down for a base hit. Fights off the fastball, kind of an inside-outside swing. Garcia with a 2-out hit the other way. Sounds lead by a run here in the second, and back to the top with Jet Williams. Williams singled, stole second, stole third, and scored in the opening inning. Busy start to the night for Jet Williams, who's had quite a homestand. Pitch on the way, and Williams takes a backdoor curveball strike. Dax Fulton was drafted by the Marlins in the second round in 2020. The pitch, Williams hits a floater to left. That's shallow. That's going to fall in for a base hit right in front of Pintar. Jet Williams is 2 for 2. That one was not even 70 miles an hour off the bat, but to a good spot. And back-to-back parachute singles. Dax Fulton's got to be thinking, you got to be kidding me here. But now he's got 2 on with 2 out. And Luis Lara will try to keep it going. Fulton was drafted out of Mustang High School in Oklahoma. He was born in Weatherford, hometown of Mustang, Oklahoma. The pitch to Lara. And Luis drives one deep down the left field line. Pintar on the run in the corner looking up. Gone! Luis Lara rings the bell. A 3-run homer down the left field line and make it 5-1 Sounds. And Dax Fulton has to pay for those back-to-back weekly hit singles. Lara fully cashes it in with a 3-run homer, and the Sounds lead by 4. That was not even technically barreled off the bat by Lara. It shows you how strong he is for one. And he got it out to a short porch area in left. And Lara with his second home run of the series. It's 5-1 Sounds. Here's Luis Matos, and he takes a strike. We said it when Lara went deep the other night. He had gone 42 games in a row without a homer when he went deep on Thursday. Now Matos smashes one to left for a base hit. That's 4 consecutive hits off Fulton. Matos is 2 for 2. He's found the barrel a couple of times. But Lara had gone 42 games in a row without a homer when he went deep on Thursday. But he hit over 300 and had an OPS over 800 in that time period. And now this week he has found that home run stroke twice. Here's the pitch, and Carroll hits a ground ball towards short. Glove there by Cerna. He'll go to second and get the force on Matos. And Jefferson Carroll ends the inning with a fielder's choice. But the Sounds strike for 3. Thomas Pannone has a 5-1 lead as he faces Jared Cerna here in the third. Cerna, the number 9 man for Jacksonville, shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a strike. Matthew Etzel and Augustine Ramirez will follow for the Shrimp. Luis Lara's 3-run homer giving Pannone some breathing room. Now the 0-1, and Cerna takes low. Cerna 1 for 10 in the series, hitting .235 in 60 games. 24 years old, native of Mexico. Here's the 1-1 now, and that's swung on, hit in the air to right center. Lara back and to his left, makes the call in front of the warning track and runs it down. 1 away. Out-of-town scoreboard updates are brought to you by Matt Hardin Law, a personal injury law firm for Tennesseans by Tennesseans. They're part of your local community and here to help you back to your life after a car wreck or personal injury. Matt Hardin Law, the local firm that locals trust. Here's Matthew Etzel, who led off the game by striking out. Pannone delivers. Etzel takes down low. Well, the parent club Brewers got a win at the Diamondbacks to take that series. 3-2 the final after the Brewers scored 3 runs in the 7th inning. 2 of which came on another home run by Jake Bauers. Here's the 1-0. That's hit toward right center. Lara going back on this one. On the track at the wall. Jumps up, and Lara didn't catch it. He almost had it. It's a home run for Etzel. And hopefully Lara is okay. He's slowly walking back towards center field. He banged into that wall with a tremendous effort trying to rob it. And I couldn't tell right away if he was shaken up or just mad and disappointed that he didn't catch it. He's making a waving motion to the dugout like, no, I'm good. Kind of grabbing his left arm a little bit as he reached up to try to make that play. Boy, from this angle anyway, it looked like he almost robbed it. Now it's hard to tell from a depth perception standpoint. Here's a swing of foul by Agustin Ramirez. Exactly how close he was, but watching it from up here, way out there, it looked like he, especially the way he was timing his jump, and he's still, I think, a little bit feeling it from that effort, the way he's walking around out in center field in between pitches. It was Etzel's 10th home run. The score is now 5-2 as Ramirez grounds one wide to third, speared by Jet Williams to his left, straightens up and throws the first in time. 2 down. And here's Davison De Los Santos. Ball seems to be traveling pretty well tonight, even though it's so humid. Little bit of breeze based on the flags might help a little bit. Here's Davison De Los Santos. But the Brewers beat the Diamondbacks 3-2 to take that series. Now they're on to St. Louis to continue that 11-game, 10-day road trip. Panone's curve is outside to De Los Santos. Brandon Sproat gave up a run and had a long first inning, but went on to go 4 frames. He got a no decision, and Drew Rom got the win. He went up today from the Sounds and got the win. Here's a swing of foul tip by De Los Santos. Brewers unfortunately had to put Brandon Woodruff back on the injured list with right shoulder inflammation. So Drew Rom was recalled. Rom pitched a third of an inning, got a strikeout, and then the Brewers took the lead while he was the pitcher of record. Here's a curve down and in on De Los Santos, 2-1. Trevor McGill saved it. And the Brewers took 2 out of 3 in Arizona. And now they'll go to play the Cardinals 5 times in 4 days. They've got that doubleheader on Tuesday. They'll start the series tomorrow night while the Sounds are off. And then next weekend, the Brewers are in Pittsburgh. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, stroke to right center field. Lara and Jones are back. They look up, and that one is gone. A home run for Davison De Los Santos. The ball came back onto the field, but it looked like it hit off the safety fence. A home run by De Los Santos. His second in as many nights. He's got prodigious power. That was to the opposite field, and 106 off the bat on a changeup over the middle of the plate. And now it's 5-3. Graham Pauley now comes up. Pauley singled his first time. Panone ready to go lefty on lefty. And the pitch. And that's swung on and missed. 0-1. So the Brewers won their game. The Cubs beat the Cardinals. So the Cubs stay 6 back. The Cardinals are 7.5 back as they then take on the Brewers starting tomorrow. The 0-1. And that's just off the outside for a ball. The Reds beat the Orioles today behind Nick Lodolo. The Braves got outslugged by the Mets. What a wild game that was. 10-9, the Mets beat the Braves. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, chopped to first, and a fair ball. Glove by Wilkin. Brock's going to hurry to the bag and win the race on Pauley. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. 3 unassisted play. Good work by Wilkin to back his pitcher. Brock Wilkin leads off the last of the 3rd. Sounds lead Jacksonville 5-3. Trying to win the series and make it a winning homestand on this Sunday night. Dax Fulton goes back to work, and Wilkin takes low. Brock struck out looking his first time up. Now the 1-0 pitch coming, and Wilkin swings and misses. 2 big, strong guys going at it here. Fulton 6'7", 255, and Wilkin is 6'4", 237. They're both 24. The 1-1, and Wilkin takes a backdoor curveball strike. Mentioned the Sounds will be in Charlotte on Tuesday. The Knights have been in Memphis this week. They got beat 2-1 by the Redbirds today. Here's a ball inside on Wilkin. But back to that Braves-Mets game, if you didn't hear about this one, the Mets beat Atlanta 10-9. And the Mets were up 5-3 going to the ninth inning. New York scored 5 runs to make it 10-3. Well, then the Braves scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth and lost by a run. Here's a ball low on Wilkin. Devin Williams saved it for the Mets. Atlanta had a 3-game lead on the Phillies going into the day. And the Phillies lost to the Royals, the 3-2. And Wilkin takes outside ball 4. Brock works the leadoff walk. His 51st walk of the year. He's among the top 5 in the league in free passes drawn. Didn't chase that one. It was just off the outside. And now Greg Jones comes up. Sounds lead by 2 here in the third. Jones bounced back to the mound his first time up. Switch hitter waiting for the right, and Jones takes strike 1. These two teams here will see each other again one more time after tonight. The Sounds go to Jacksonville late August. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's down low for a ball. That's part of a 2-week road trip the Sounds have. They've had a 2-week homestand here, and they'll balance it out later with a 2-week road trip. They'll go to Norfolk and then Jacksonville, and they'll close out August against the Jumbo Shrimp. 1-1 offering now, and Jones takes up and away for a ball. And it's been a battle this year against Jacksonville, and last year the Sounds really struggled against the Jumbo Shrimp. This year they're 6-5 against them entering tonight, with one more series to be played. The 2-1. Jones takes in 3-1. Jones has not seen a fastball yet. He's getting a lot of sliders and changeups here from Dax Fulton. Hitting room in left center. Wilkin gets his lead. And the 3-1 by Fulton. Here it comes. Jones takes a strike. There was the fastball, and he took it. So now it's a full count. Jones might like to have that one again. That was right over the middle of the plate. Next run coming, and Jones hits a ground ball right side. That's a base hit. He got another fastball, and he singles through the right side. Wilkins stops at second, and the Sounds have 2 on with nobody out here in the third. And Jared Eichhoff is coming out, the Jacksonville pitching coach. Some activity starting for the Jumbo Shrimp in their bullpen. You look at a lot of the outings for Fulton, and he's had some where the pitch count was in the 90s. But then others, like last week when he was just back from the big leagues and trying to get re-stretched out, he only threw 45 pitches. And right now, he's at 53 pitches, so he's probably not going to go too much longer. That's the one thing that happens when you are a reliever in the big leagues after being a starter at AAA. When you come back to AAA, you've got to build back up, as they say, work up to those bigger workloads with higher pitch counts. And so Fulton having to do that now in these couple of weeks back at AAA. Here's Ethan Murray, the pitch, and Murray pulls it foul. Look out, David Tufo over in the third base coach's box. Well, he's had a couple of them tonight coming in hot. And that crazy new rule that requires base coaches to be within the coach's box. You get some dangerous moments. The 0-1 is low and in. 1-1 now. Wilkin at second, Jones at first. Fulton ready at the belt, looks at second. And here he comes to Murray after the pause. Murray takes low and in. 2-1 the count on Ethan Murray. Eddie's Leonard in reserve. Murray getting another start at second base. 2-1 pitch, and that is a little bit low. 3-1. So you got 2 on with nobody out. Murray's been a hot hitter lately. And a favorable count here of 3-1. See what Fulton goes with here. The lefty fires, and Murray takes a fastball strike. And that one just caught the bottom inside corner. Pretty good pitcher's pitch right there on 3-1. Now the full count pitch to Murray with Wilkin at second, Jones at first. Here it is, and Murray takes in the dirt, ball 4. Second walk in the inning by Fulton. Now the Sounds have him loaded with nobody out. Darian Miller coming up. And the Sounds have a chance to again get this thing opened up a little bit. They led 5-1 after 2, but then Jacksonville hit those homers off Pannone in the top of the inning. Right now it's 5-3 Sounds. Lefty on lefty, and Miller takes a strike on a curveball. Miller flied to left his first time up. Dax Fulton from the stretch fires, and Miller takes low. It's 1-1 strike. We've seen the bottom of the order come through a number of times in this series for the Sounds. Miller batting in the 8th spot. Next one coming to him. Here it is. And he takes it just off the plate. 95 from Fulton, but it missed away. 2-1. They're playing Paulie at third in. The shortstop Cerna's toward the middle, conceding a run. And the 2-1 pitch. Miller takes, and it is just off the plate. Boy, another very close pitch. 3-1. Almost identical spot to the previous one. It was off the plate. And with no place to put him, it's 3-1. Bags loaded, nobody out. Miller waits, and now Fulton disengages and steps off. Miller resets in that left-hand batter's box. The hands out in front of his chest. Fulton stretches the 3-1, and Miller chops one right side. At second, it's gloved by Miller, who slips, throws to first, and it's not in time. All hands are safe. Gage Miller ranged to his left. I thought he was going to have a couple of options of where he could go with that ball, and he ultimately does not get an out. He slipped, and from his knees was trying to throw to first on Darian Miller, who beat the throw, and the Sounds take a 6-3 lead. And that is going to end the night for Dax Fulton. David Carpenter out to make a pitching change. Fulton has thrown 64 pitches, a good increase from where he was on Sunday against Memphis. He departs. The Sounds have him loaded with nobody out, and we're back after this on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. Garcia is the batter for the Sounds. They've got a run in here in the bottom of the third. They lead Jacksonville 6-3, and right-hander Josh White is the new Jacksonville pitcher. First pitch to Garcia, swung on and missed. Darian Miller credited with a fielder's choice and an RBI on that bouncing ball into the hole at second. Gage Miller gloved it and then slipped when he was trying to turn and go to second for a force play. Garcia takes down and away. So their hope, or Miller's hope, was to get Ethan Murray at second base. Then he lost his footing. That's when he tried to get Darian Miller at first and was late in that effort. 1-1 on Garcia. And the pitch coming. Garcia fouls it away. A squibber up along the right side. Started to spin back fair, but it is a foul ball. So Dax Fulton rebuilding his pitch count back from a stint in the big leagues a couple of weeks ago through 64 pitches. 34 for strikes. He leaves after 2+ innings. His line is not final yet. The 1-2 on the way. Garcia swings and misses strike 3 on a ball in the dirt. One away. At the moment, it's 6 runs on 7 hits for Dax Fulton. He walked 3 and struck out 2. Here's Jet Williams, who's got 2 singles tonight. Sounds leads 6-3 in the third. Josh White on the first base edge of the rubber. Here he comes, and Williams hits a check swing foul to the backstop. We saw Josh White for an inning and 2/3 on Thursday. That was the game Jacksonville ultimately won in extra innings. White gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. Here's 1-0. Williams swings and fouls it away, and Jet was looking to launch there. White walked a couple of guys in that outing the other night, including Jet Williams, with the bases loaded. When the Sounds rallied in the middle innings of that game. And that was a 40-pitch effort for White. His 0-2, and Williams takes strike 3 called. He froze Jet that time. Got him looking for the second out of the inning. And now Luis Lara comes up. Lara, a walk, a stolen base, and a homer already tonight. 3-run shot to the right field corner, or the left field corner, I should say, last inning. He takes in the dirt for a ball. He hit that homer right-handed against the lefty Fulton. Now he turns around to bat lefty against the righty Josh White. Bases loaded, 2 down. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and Lara takes it for a strike. White is on for the 26th time. He's 5-1 with a 2.45 ERA. He's got a couple of saves. Batter's hitting just 184 against him. Here's the 1-1. Lara swings and foul tips it for a strike. Josh White, 25 years old. Drafted out of Cal by the Marlins. 5th round pick in 2022. He's had 1 game in the big leagues this year for Miami, his major league debut. He comes back to Lara. Bases loaded, 1-2 the count. And the pitch. And Lara hits a high fly ball out to left field, but it's playable. Andrew Pintar is there, makes the catch. And the inning is over. So the Sounds get a run. They would have liked a little more there. Had a good chance to build on it. They do get 1 run on 1 hit. Thomas Pannone goes back to work. He'll face Reese Hines, Andrew Pintar, and Gage Miller for Jacksonville. Sounds lead 6-3 here in the top of the 4th inning. And Pannone fires. Hines takes up an away ball 1. Hines singled into center his first time up. Former Cincinnati Red is 5 for 14 in the series. Always a threat with his power, even though he's not had great offensive numbers so far with Jacksonville since the Marlins picked him up. He takes high, and it's 2-0. He's batting 198 with the Shrimp. He batted 306 in his 23 games with Louisville. 2-0 now. And Hines swings and misses on a curveball. Jacksonville, the reigning league and AAA champs, and they're in the thick of it early in the second half of this year, trying to get back to the postseason. Here's the 2-1, and Hines takes low and in. Memphis, the first half playoff qualifier. So these are 2 teams here, the Sounds and Jacksonville, 2 of the many who are in the thick of it at the top of the league standings early in this second half. Jacksonville 2 games back, Sounds 3 back of Durham entering the day. 3-1 pitch, and Hines takes strike 2 called around the knees. He was starting to head to first. It's a full count, and that was a strike at the bottom of the zone. Outfield straightaway, Pannone third base side of the rubber. Takes the small step, now the kick, the pitch. And the 3-2 is hammered to deep left field. Mato's back, looking up, that is gone. And Reese Hines shows that power we were just talking about. That was a missile home run. That was a curveball way down. That was below the strike zone. And Hines hit it 108 off the bat. That's the third solo homer of the night for Jacksonville. Now it's 6-4. And before Andrew Pintar bats, 10 seconds for station ID on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. Jeff M. with you here at First Horizon Park. Jake Steigelfest at the controls over at 94.9 The Fan. Sounds lead by 2 as that one wrapped out to short by Pintar. Gloved cleanly by Eduardo Garcia, and he throws to first in time. 1 away. And Gage Miller now comes up. Reese Hines just hit his 4th home run with Jacksonville, his 11th this year at AAA in 50 games. They've hit 3 solo homers. Their other run came courtesy of this batter, Gage Miller, who had a sac fly in the second, and he takes high for ball 1. There have been 7 half innings of offense in this game. There's been only 1 half inning where a run was not scored. 1-0 pitch. That curls in for a strike. Pannone had a perfect first inning on 13 pitches, a 1-2-3, and that's the only half inning where a team didn't score. Jacksonville has scored in every inning since that, and the Sounds have scored in all 3 of their frames of offense. 1-1 on Miller, 1 out, nobody on, and Pannone redeals, and that's off the inside for a ball. Two and 1 the count. And the pitch. Gage Miller takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. A fastball. And it's 2-2 now. Former Alabama standout Gage Miller. 3rd round pick of the Marlins 2 years ago. There aren't many position players on this Jacksonville team who were drafted by Miami. Miller's one of them. And he swings and misses, strike 3. Pannone got him with off speed. 2 down. Another good curveball there by Pannone. Gage Miller got mostly soft stuff in that sequence. And Pannone has registered his 4th strikeout. Strikeouts all season long by Sounds pitchers are brought to you by Circle K as Ethan O'Donnell bats for the Shrimp. First pitch taken for strike 1. Looking to save at the pump? Join Circle K's Inner Circle Rewards and get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, plus exclusive monthly deals to help you save even more. 0-1 on O'Donnell. He struck out earlier. The 0-1 pitch is off the outside. Check swing, no swing. And it's 1-1. Matos out in left is about a step toward the line. Lara straight up in center. Jones same thing in right. The 1-1 is low. Pannone went to that balance kick there, that low balance leg kick where he sort of pauses with the front leg, the right leg extended low to the ground. 2-1 pitch now. And O'Donnell hits a fly ball off to the left side, down the line. Matos in and over near the side wall. Matos near that wall. Did he make the catch? He did. Matos made the play. That's a blind spot for us up here from this angle in the booth. And Matos near the Sounds bullpen mound. Luis Matos first up for the Sounds in the bottom of the 4th inning. And he will get it started in front of Carroll and Wilkin. Josh White back out there out of the Jacksonville bullpen. And the first pitch to Matos is low for ball 1. Sounds have a 6-4 lead Matos 2 for 2 with a 2-run double back in the opening inning. The 1-0 now, and he swings and skies at foul left side out of play. We're only in the bottom of the 4th inning, and most every Sounds hitter has already been on base tonight. Williams has 2 hits. Lara has been on base twice, including a homer. Matos has 2 hits. Now the 1-1, and that's up high for a ball. Carroll, who's on deck, has not been on yet. Wilkin, Jones, Murray batting 5, 6, and 7. They've each been on once. Garcia in the 9th spot has been on. Darian Miller hasn't reached safely yet, but he's got an RBI. Now a swing and a miss by Matos, so it's 2-2. So we're in the last of the 4th, and 7 of the 9 Sounds have reached safely. And 8 of the 9 have reached or driven in a run. 2-2 coming from Josh White. Here it is. And that's a jam shot foul by Matos off the netting right side. We do not have the pitching probables yet for the Sounds in that Charlotte series. It'll start on Tuesday night at 6:04 Central. Two now, and Matos fouls it away. It may depend on who gets used tonight, because Pannone earlier in this series started and was followed by Lyon Richardson. We also saw Gerson Garabito make a spot start early in the series. 2-2 pitch on the way, and Matos pops it up on the infield. Coming down from third is Graham Pauley. He's near the mound, and he makes the catch. Josh White, the pitcher, was ready to make that play if nobody was going to take control, but Pauley got it done to get Matos. And here's Jefferson Carroll. It is likely that Coleman Crowe will have another rehab appearance for the Sounds. He pitched here last night in Game 2 of the doubleheader. So how does that play a role in the upcoming series in Charlotte? Does Logan Henderson indeed get reinstated by the Brewers in a few days? After his second rehab start, Carroll takes a strike. There's also the Brewers schedule that's going to play a role in what the Sounds have at their disposal and what they don't have, because the Brewers have that doubleheader on Tuesday in St. Louis. The 0-1 pitch is up high, and we've already seen them in the last couple days. Recall Craig Yoho, and today Drew Rom in their bullpen up there. Here's the 1-1 now to Carroll, and that's off the outside for a ball. And with Brandon Woodruff back on the injured list, unfortunately that opens a spot in the Brewers rotation, and you've got Logan Henderson and Robert Gasser as candidates for that spot, plus their doubleheader. 2-1 pitch, and that's down and away. So it's possible that Henderson and Gasser make a start at some point in the next few days for the Brewers. And then you got Crowe down here on rehab assignment. Carlos Rodriguez has been around the Sounds for a couple days, even though his rehab has not officially been transferred to the Sounds from Arizona. We have seen him around the club. 3-1 pitch, and that is in for a strike on Carroll. Brett Witrowski threw a bullpen session earlier in the week in his bid to get back off the injured list. So there's a lot going on, and a lot of it is very positive, that guys like Henderson and Crowe are on their way back. 3-2 now. And Carroll strikes out swinging. White got him with a slider away, 2 down. Sounds lead 6-4 here in the 4th inning. And the batter is Brock Wilkin. And then Carlos Rodriguez on the comeback trail. Witrowski is on the Sounds injured list. That's another starter that the Sounds and Brewers are trying to get back. So there's a lot of variables in play for the upcoming rotation in Charlotte for the Sounds come Tuesday night. Wilkin takes outside for a ball. Garrett Stallings remains with the Brewers after being called up from the Sounds at the start of the week. We talked about that pregame with Rick Sweet. Wilkin takes low and away. Stallings pitched the one game so far, pitching against the Reds in Milwaukee the other day. Did not work in that Diamondback series. Wilkin 0 for 1 with a walk. Base is empty, 2 down. Sounds lead by 2. The pitch, and it's a high strike. Slider from Josh White, 2-1 the count. Call-ups and transactions always brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. The Tennessee Education Lottery is proud to support the Sounds. The 2-1. Wilkin hits a high fly ball out to deep left field. Pintar backing up, and he's got room in front of the warning track to make the catch and end the inning. Thomas Pannone at 65 pitches as he opens up the 5th inning, looking to qualify for a win. Sounds are on top of Jacksonville 6-4 here in the series finale, and Jared Cerna takes high for ball 1. A little bit of sunshine out in Fairground. We have not seen that much today. The day began with so much overcast skies. Tarp was on the field a little bit this afternoon when needed. The 1-0 has popped up near the plate. Darian Miller near the Jacksonville on deck circle makes the catch. 1 down. Cerna retired. Jacksonville goes back to the top now with Matthew Etzel. But Lara out in center has a little bit of brightness to deal with. The shadows still mostly covering fair ground. Here's Matthew Etzel. He's got one of the 3 solo homers for Jacksonville. And the pitch. Swung on, looped in the air, out to shallow left field. Garcia out from short. Matos in from left. Matos makes the catch. 2 down. The Sounds' upcoming schedule we've been talking about is brought to you by Flip Seats, the official ticket resale partner of the Sounds. Don't let your seats go empty. Visit flipseats.com and start selling smarter today. That's flipseats.com. Sounds in Charlotte this coming week, and then back here for 3 home games out of the All-Star break against Norfolk beginning on July the 17th. Here's Augustine Ramirez. He swings and foul tips it for a strike and lost his footing in the process. Jacksonville's got a right-hander starting to warm in the bullpen. That next homestand for the Sounds will have a Christmas in July night, a Marvel night, which features a Spider-Man Funko giveaway. Here's the 0-1, and that one is up and away. Check swing, no swing by Ramirez. So lock in your seats for that mid-July 3-game series against Norfolk by going to NashvilleSounds.com. 1-1 on Ramirez. Next pitch by Pannone. Here it is. And a breaking ball is yanked on the ground to third. Scooped up by Jet Williams. Makes the toss across in time. And it's a 1-2-3 for Paulie shallow at third against the speed of Jones. Switch hitter batting left, and Josh White delivers. First pitch is off the plate for ball 1 and being challenged by Augustine Ramirez, the Jacksonville catcher. This is Jacksonville's first challenge of the night, and it was a strike on the upper outside corner. So each team is 1 for 1 on the challenges, and it's 0-1 on Jones.
Number 35, Jack Ralston.
Jack Ralston warming for Jacksonville as White begins the 5th. Here's the 0-1, and Jones takes a strike on a fastball at 92. Jones had a single in the 3rd. He's also grounded out. Now the 0-2 coming by White, and Jones takes strike 3 called, and Greg knew it right away. A curveball got him. 1 away. And now it brings up Murray. You know, we've been talking about the Sounds heading to Charlotte. You know, one guy it looks like they're going to face, Munetaka Murakami, is going to be rehabbing for the White Sox in Charlotte. The 26-year-old left-handed batting White Sox slugger who's been out with a hamstring strain since the end of May. He got 20 homers in 57 games in the big leagues. Here's the pitch, and that's a strike. And the White Sox have done really well without him. I mean, a lot of people, I would probably put a hand up on this one, thought that when Murakami went down, the White Sox were going to sink in the AL Central. They're tied atop that division with Cleveland going into today. As Murray laces one to left, back as Pintar reaches up and makes the catch. 2 down. So the White Sox, to their credit, have held up without Murakami. But even the White Sox are saying that they might get Murakami back before the All-Star break, which basically means the Sounds would face him for a few days, you would presume, early in that Charlotte series. And then if it goes well for Murakami, he could get back to the White Sox by the weekend. But it is likely the Sounds are going to face Munetaka Murakami on White Sox rehab in that Charlotte series on Tuesday, as Darian Miller takes ball 1 upstairs from Josh White. Now the 1-0 pitch coming, and Miller takes down low. The White Sox and Guardians finished up in Cleveland today. The White Sox won that game 7-6, so they're back in front by themselves atop the AL Central by 1 game over Cleveland. And they've done it for over a month now without Murakami. Miller takes a strike, 2-1. 6-4 Sounds, 5th inning. Miller had an RBI on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd. Now the 2-1 pitch, and Miller takes low. Dax Fulton went 2+ innings for Jacksonville. Now Josh White in his 3rd frame. Next pitch coming, and Miller hits a ground ball to first and foul. Full count now on Darian Miller. Charlotte lost in 11 innings in Memphis today to the Redbirds. The Knights overall are 5 games over 500. It's a much improved Charlotte team this year from the last few years we'd seen. 3-2 on the way, and Miller strokes one to right center field for a base hit. O'Donnell over to cut it off, and that breaks Miller out of an 0-for-11 skid. That's his 2nd hit in 6 games with the Sounds, up from Double-A. And it brings up another guy recently up from Double-A, Eduardo Garcia. And here comes David Carpenter, and the Jacksonville manager is going to make a change. They're going to bring in a righty. Josh White has thrown close to 40 pitches in his 3 innings. So he is going to depart with 2 outs and a man on here in the last of the 5th inning. Sounds lead 6-4. We'll step aside for a pitching change on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. Right-hander Jack Ralston is the new pitcher for Jacksonville, and Eduardo Garcia the batter for the Sounds, with 2 outs and Darian Miller at first base. Ralston replaces Josh White here in the last of the 5th, with the Sounds leading by 2. Garcia 1 out of 2, a single and a strikeout. And Ralston delivers, and that one is in for a strike. So Josh White went 2 2/3. At the moment, no runs allowed. 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. Garcia takes up and outside. We saw Ralston on Thursday night in that extra inning game that Jacksonville won. The victory went to Ralston. He gave them 2 scoreless innings, did not allow a hit. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. There's that splitter he throws a ton. With his arm angle and the movement on that pitch, everything goes from very high to very low as he comes over the top as a big strong righty at 6'6", and then that splitter just drops off the table. 10 inches of vertical break. Next pitch, strike 3 called. He got him with a slider. Garcia is gone, and that will end the inning. So the Sounds don't score. They get a hit, and they leave 1. Sounds baseball is driven by your Middle Tennessee Toyota dealers. Davison De Los Santos leads off for Jacksonville. We start the 6th inning on this Sunday night. Skies have continued to clear. It's a beautiful night now. And the Sounds are up 6-4, looking for a series win and a winning homestand. Thomas Pannone at 71 pitches, misses outside with a curveball. Pannone, third base side of the rubber. Facing De Los Santos, Pauly, and Hines, the 1-0. And that's in for a strike. Thick part of the Jacksonville order here. A lot of power. De Los Santos homered in the 3rd. His 2nd home run in as many days. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch is down and in for a ball. Sounds have 6 runs on 8 hits. And they've got a couple of regulars having the night off, too. 2-1 pitch. De Los Santos floats one to center. Lara coming in, still coming in, and Lara gets there in time. 1 away. Luke Adams has the night off after getting hit by a pitch in each end of the doubleheader yesterday. And a busy week for Luke, so he's out of the lineup tonight, just a day off. Tyler Black, as Rick Sweet talked about pregame, also getting a day. Here's Paulie now, 1 out of 2 with a single, and we're seeing some activity in that Sounds bullpen. Looks like Lyon Richardson is warming, and he followed Pannone the other night. Sounds used a lot of guys in that doubleheader last night. Here's the pitch, and Paulie fouls it away. But you got Pannone working into the 6th inning. 3rd time he's done that against Jacksonville this year. Richardson backed up behind him and a multi-inning guy. So that could take it the rest of the way, or at least close to it. Remember, Drew Rom was a rested arm in that bullpen, but he got called up by the Brewers and got the win for them today in Arizona. The 0-1 is swung on and missed by Paulie. So you've got Mark Manfredi and Peter Strzelecki in that bullpen on multiple days rest. Now again, the next factor is Gerson Garabito, because he may be used as a spot starter again in the Charlotte series. He's on 3 days of rest from his start here earlier in the week. 0-2 coming by Pannone. Here it is. And Paulie checks in, takes outside for a ball. Rick Sweet on the Sunday pregame show with the Sounds manager said, we have enough pitching if what we have lined up does what it's supposed to do. Here's the 1-2. And Paulie chops it foul. And these are 2 of the best pitching staffs in all of AAA that have been going at it this week. Here's Pannone's pitch, and Paulie hits it in the air down the left field line. Matos in, Williams out. Matos gets there to make the running grab. 2 down. Here comes Rhys Hines. You look at team ERA in the International League. Jacksonville is number 1. The Sounds are number 2. 4.02 for Jacksonville, 4.21 the team ERA for the Sounds entering play on this Sunday. Number 1 and number 2. And that's your fact of the game, brought to you by TaskRabbit. Here's another fact. TaskRabbit has been Music City's go-to for moving and assembly for years. Hines swings and misses. It's the fastest way to knock out your to-do list. Book a Tasker today. Hines has a homer and a single tonight. Here's the offering, and it's swung on, dribbled near the plate. Miller grabs it with a bare hand and lobs it over Hines down to Wilkin for the out. And a 1-2-3 6th inning for Thomas Pannone. Back-to-back 3 up, 3 downs. In fact, after Hines homered, Pannone went on to retire the next 9 batters in a row. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 and select out-of-market games every week. Plus live radio broadcasts of every game. Game Day 3D, big inning. Jet Williams leads off for the Sounds, fouls one away here at the bottom of the 6th inning. You can also watch minor league action with MLB Plus. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. 6-4 Sounds. Jet Williams is 2 for 3. Jack Ralston back to work for Jacksonville, the 0-1. And Williams takes high. Ralston got the final out in the 5th inning in back of Josh White. Sounds got all their runs against the starter Dax Fulton, the 1-1. And it's swung on and missed by Williams. Splitter got him out in front. Lara on deck, and then Matos. Sounds jumped on Dax Fulton with Matos' 2-run double in the first, and they've led the entire way. The 1-2 now, and Williams hits a high fly ball. Deep left field. Pintar back on the track at the wall. Jumps up, and Pintar caught it. He caught it, and it looks like he robbed a home run from Jet Williams. Andrew Pintar timed the jump perfectly, and by all accounts from this angle, just robbed Jet Williams of a home run. What a catch by Pintar. Williams, I think, thought he got it. And Pintar, yeah, he robbed a homer. Jumped up above that yellow line right up against the 8-foot barrier. Here's Lara now, and Lara takes down low, showing bunt. What a week it's been for Jet Williams. Even without a homer there, he is 8 for 22 this week, plus 3 walks and a ton of stolen bases. Lara strokes it foul off to the left out of play. Rick Sweet talked about it on the pregame show. Williams is consistent at bats lately, not chasing high pitches. Here's the 1-1, and Lara takes low. Lara hit a 3-run homer back in the second. His second homer of the week and 9th of the year. 2-1 now, and Lara chops it foul. Lara's up to 42 RBIs now. Jefferson Carroll leads the team with 48. Brock Wilken has 44. Eddie's Leonard has 43. And Luis Lara has 42. Tight race for the team lead in RBIs. 2-2 pitch. And Lara throws the hands at it and fouls it away. Two balls, 2 strikes on Luis Lara. We'll do some baseball trivia here in the 6th inning. Give you a chance to win a couple of Sounds tickets. Ralston coming back, and Lara takes down low. It's brought to you by JLS Mechanical HVAC, proudly serving Middle Tennessee and a certified local train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. JLS is dedicated to honest service, reliable repairs, and top quality installations. Whether your system needs a quick fix or full replacement. Here's the 3-2. And Lara takes strike 3 called. Got him looking with that splitter. 2 down. Go online at jlsmechanicalhvac.com. Here's Matos. So I'll give you a trivia question. You need to email your answer to radio booth at nashvillesounds.com. Include your name and what city you're listening from in the email so we can identify you on the air if you're the winner. And the first correct responder wins 2 tickets to a Sounds game and is automatically entered for a chance at the end of the month to win a free 1-year membership to JLS Mechanical's Gold Tier Maintenance Plan. That's a $300 value prize. Matos swings and misses. We've done a lot of All-Star Game related topics this week as MLB's All-Star Game rosters have come out. We did the Brewers all-time All-Star leader earlier in the week. Matos takes low and away. We did the all-time leaders. Well, with Jacksonville here for one more day, and they are long AAA for the Marlins, who is the Marlins all-time leader in All-Star Game appearances as a Marlin? The 1-1 to Matos is up high. Now, I will tell you, it's a tie. You've got 2 possible right answers here. One is a future Hall of Famer. The other may be a Hall of Famer too, but he's still playing. Here's the 2-1. Matos takes low. So you got 2 possible right answers. 2 guys are tied for the most All-Star Game appearances by a Marlin. And send in your answer to radio booth at nashvillesounds.com, and we'll see in a bit if we've got a winner. One of the 2 is a first ballot Hall of Famer. 3-1 coming, and Matos hits a ground ball out to second. Miller will scoop it up, and throw to first in time. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jack Ralston. Sounds go quietly. Lyon Richardson takes over out of the Sounds bullpen. Calls to the bullpen are brought to you by the Mint Gaming Hall, Cashville, Kentucky, at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Proud partner of the Sounds. Join the fun as live horse racing returns in August. For more, visit themintgaming.com. Lyon Richardson takes over for Thomas Pannone. The Sounds lead Jacksonville 6-4 here in the 7th inning. And the first pitch on the way to Andrew Pintar is taken for a strike. Pintar's fly to center and grounded out to short. Thomas Pannone's game to win. He went 6 innings tonight. Scattered 4 runs. The 0-1 in for a strike. Retired his final 9 batters. 4 runs on 5 hits with no walks and 4 strikeouts for Pannone. 82 pitches and 52 strikes. Richardson's 0-2 coming. And Pintar chops one to third and foul. On Tuesday night, after Pannone went 5 1/3, Richardson went the next 3 2/3, and they were the only 2 guys who pitched that night. And that was coming off the Sunday doubleheader the Sounds had against Gwinnett. Even though they'd had the Monday off day, they were still overworked in the bullpen when this series began, and Pannone and Richardson did their thing. Next pitch is up and in. 1-2. And that might be the way the series ends. We'll see if Richardson can go the final 3. 1-2 pitch is up high. 2-2. Richardson, one of the newer Sounds, the former Louisville Bat and Cincinnati Red. He's on for the 6th time with the Sounds, and he's only given up 2 runs in his first 13 innings with the club. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, big bouncer toward the middle. Murray near second, can't get it. It eats him up and gets into center field. So Pintar is on to begin the 7th inning. Pintar runs well, too. That was hit hard, but even if Murray gloves that, I would be interested to know how close that would have been at first base. It's a base hit for Pintar. And Gage Miller now the hitter. Miller a sac fly and a strikeout tonight. Richardson ready. Here he comes. And it's off the outside for ball 1. This is the bottom part of their order. The 1-0 is down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Sounds trying to win the series, and they would go 7-5 on the homestand. The 2-0 is low, 3-0. They split with Gwinnett last week and trying to take 4 out of 6 from Jacksonville. Sounds have been one of the best home teams in baseball this year. They're 32-14 in this park. Now the 3-0, and Miller taking all the way, looks at a strike. (3-1) now by Richardson. Here it is to Gage Miller. Swung on, grounded left side, a base hit through the hole at short. Out of the reach of Williams and Garcia. Pintar stops at second. And Jacksonville's got 2 on with nobody out. And the batter Ethan O'Donnell in a 2-run ball game. This is the only game going right now around the International League. Everything else on the Hard and Law out-of-town scoreboard has wrapped up. And then 2 games in the major leagues. Here's a bunt attempt by O'Donnell. He pulls back and takes a strike. The Padres lead the Dodgers 1-0 in the 5th in L.A. And then the Red Sox and Angels will start in a little bit out in Anaheim. The 0-1 by Richardson. O'Donnell bunts foul. And he trails the count 0-2, trying to get down a sacrifice. He's 0 for 2 in the game. He's got one sacrifice on the year. Tying run at first for Jacksonville. And Richardson disengages. Pintar at second, Miller at first. Nobody out. Seventh inning. Sounds lead by 2. And the 0-2 pitch. O'Donnell checks on a ball low and in. Almost hit him on the back foot. Slider there from Richardson, and O'Donnell didn't go after it. Now the stretch. A look at second. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with a changeup. The bottom dropped out, and Richardson gets the strikeout. Before Jared Cerna bats, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. Jared Cerna now bats for Jacksonville. Jeff Hem with you here at First Horizon Park. Here's the pitch by Lyon Richardson. Outside for ball 1. Jake Steigelfest has the controls over at 94.9 The Fan. We also welcome those of you watching across the mid-state on MyTV 30. Sounds lead 6-4 here in the 7th inning. 2 on, 1 away. And the pitch. Swung on, big bouncer to second. Murray on the charge, has it, tries to tag the runner and does. Throws to first in time, a double play. Murray just got the tag on Gage Miller running by him, and then turns it into an inning-ending 4-3 double play. Nicely done by Ethan Murray, and Lyon Richardson gets out of the jam in the 7th. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. Time to stretch. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the Sound 6 and Jacksonville 4. Last of the 7th inning at First Horizon Park. Jefferson Carroll leads off for the Sounds. They've got a 6-4 lead, and Carroll rolls one up the middle. The shortstop Cerna to his left, gloves it near the bag at second and throws out Carroll. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th. Carroll is the Sounds cleanup hitter tonight. That's always brought to you by TDOT. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but you can do something about it. Learn how you can join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. Here's Brock Wilken, 0 for 2 with a walk. Ralston ready and kicks and deals. And Wilken hits a drive out to left center field. Hines on the run, deep in the alley. That is a base hit up against the wall. Wilken into second base with a double. 103 off the bat by Brock Wilken on a first pitch hanging slider. And the Sounds have their second double of the night, which means you tomorrow can enjoy a buy one, get one made-to-order snack item tomorrow at Twice Daily using the Twice Daily Rewards app. Twice Daily, fresh all day. Here's Greg Jones now. 1 out, 1 on as the Sounds look to add on late here. Ralston coming home. And Jones hits a ground ball to short. Wilkins going to scoot to third. The ball backhanded by Cerna after a bobble. He throws to first and gets Jones. Good play by Cerna to recover there. He didn't panic. Jones can fly. And they get Greg by an eyelash while Wilken goes to third. So now there are 2 down. And the batter is Ethan Murray. See if Murray can do some 2-out hitting here. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. He lined out to left field back in the 5th inning. Ralston delivers, and that one is in for a strike on a fastball. Infield back with 2 down. Sounds lead by 2. Here's the 0-1. And Murray fouls it away on a splitter. We've got a winner in our trivia contest tonight, asking you to name one of the top 2 Marlins in their franchise history. Most All-Star Game appearances as a Marlin. A lot of you got this one right. And our winner is Charles. Here's the 0-2 now by Ralston, back to Murray. on the way, and Murray fouls it away. We don't have a location for Charles, but Charles, you are the winner. Stay tight. We'll reply to your email. You win 2 tickets to a Sounds game, and you're automatically entered for a chance at the end of the month to win that $300 value prize from JLS Mechanical. Charles was on the money with Giancarlo Stanton. Here's the 0-2 now to Murray, and Ethan fouls it away. 4-time All-Star as a Marlin before going to the Yankees for Giancarlo Stanton. The other possible right answer is the route most of you went, Miguel Cabrera. He was a 4-time All-Star for the Marlins before going on to Detroit and becoming an even bigger superstar and a future Hall of Famer. Murray takes low and away. So Giancarlo Stanton and Miguel Cabrera are the co-leaders for most All-Star game appearances by a Marlin. And Charles is our winner tonight. We thank all of you for playing the trivia. And we'll do more on Tuesday night from Charlotte. Here's a swing and a miss by Murray. Strike 3 to end the inning. That splitter from Ralston. And Wilkin is stranded after his 1-out double. 1 hit, 1 left, no runs across. We go to the 8th inning on this Sunday, and it's the top of the order here for Jacksonville. Matthew Etzel, Augustine Ramirez, and Davison De Los Santos. First pitch is swung on and missed. Meanwhile, Stephen Jones is warming in the Jacksonville bullpen. Here's the 0-1, and that is down and away on a changeup. Richardson worked around 2 singles in the 7th inning after Thomas Pannone worked the first 6. Here's the 1-1 off the outside for a ball. Sounds have had to lean on that bullpen a lot in this series. Pannone went 5 1/3 on Tuesday. He went 6 tonight, the 2-1, and it's off the outside for a ball. But the other nights, it's been bullpen heavy. Go back to Wednesday. Harrison Garabito, spot starting, went 3 innings. Pitched well, but the Sounds knew he was not going to go deep into the game. Etzel fouls one away. Tyson Hardin went 4 innings on Thursday. And then in the doubleheader last night, you knew they were not going to be deep outings on rehab for Logan Henderson, 3 1/3, and Coleman Crow, 3 innings. So a great job again tonight by Pannone to eat up innings. Sounds don't have a lot of fully stretched out starters. 3-2 pitch is up and in for ball 4. Leadoff walk, and it brings up Augustine Ramirez. They've got Pannone, they've got Hardin, and that's about it right now as far as big workloads that a starter can handle. Most everybody else in one way or another is not stretched out. Garrett Stallings was one of those stretched out guys, but he's helping the Brewers now. Here's the pitch to Ramirez, taken for a strike. All the health updates tonight have been brought to you by Vanderbilt Orthopedics, the official sports medicine provider of the Sounds. The 0-1 in for a strike. Oh, off the plate. I beg your pardon. It was off the inside. 1-1. Sorry, Dylan Wilson. Plate umpire called it right. My bad. 1-1 the count. And the pitch. Swung on, bounced to the hold at short. Backhanded by Garcia. Off balance throw to second. 1. Murray the turn. And a double play. Wow, what a twin killing that was. Eduardo Garcia on a hard hit ball went deep in the hole at short. Falling away gave Murray a good feed at second. And then Murray somehow had enough on that throw to get Ramirez at first. 6-4-3. Beautifully done. 2 down. And here is Davison De Los Santos. The pitch. And that's on the outside corner for a strike. And De Los Santos is going to challenge.
Pitch is called a strike. Batter's challenging.
This one on the lower outside part of the zone. Did it grab the zone? It did not. It missed. De Los Santos gets it overturned. The teams are a combined 3 for 3 on their challenges tonight. But overall, Dylan Wilson's had a good night behind the plate. The 1-0 fouled away. But back to our friends at Vanderbilt, the official sports medicine provider of the Sounds. They're ranked among the nation's best Vanderbilt Orthopedics is relied on for excellence in care and innovations in medical research. To learn more about the services provided, visit VanderbiltOrthopedics.com. 1-1 pitch inside from Lyon Richardson, and it's 2-1. Sounds lead by 2, 8th inning. 2-1 pitch. Taken for a strike around the knees, a changeup. Boy, Ethan Murray's been part of 2 double plays here in the late innings. Massive defense. The 2-2 is low and away. That was a long start to that double play for Garcia. Deep in the hole, out near shallow left. 3-2. And it's taken for ball 4 down low. 2-out walk. Now Graham Pauley comes up. This is that dangerous part of their order. Pauley's a left-handed hitter. He's 1 for 3 with a single. And you don't want to face Reese Hines, who's on deck. Here's the pitch, and it's down low. You'd much rather have Hines leading off in that 9th. Big spot here for Richardson against Pauley. Tying run at the plate, and the 1-0. Low and inside, a changeup missed, and Richardson not happy, steps off the back of the mound. 2-0 the count. Garcia toward the middle out at short. The pitch swung on, popped up, foul. Out of play left side. Sounds have not trailed tonight. They got 2 runs in the first inning. They led 5-1 at the end of 2. Right now they lead 6-4 with 2 outs in the 8th. De Los Santos leads at first. Short lead. 2-1 pitch. And Pauley takes a strike. Well-placed sinker there by Lyon Richardson. Now the 2-2 coming from the Sounds righty. Here's the kick of the pitch. And Pauley checks on a ball down and away. Didn't go. A changeup. Richardson has a terrific changeup. And he's thrown it a couple of times now in this sequence to the left-handed batting Graham Pauley. Now Richardson back up on the rubber. Left-handed batter waiting. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with a sinker. Stephen Jones, the new pitcher for Jacksonville. Darian Miller will lead it off for the Sounds. Eduardo Garcia and Jet Williams will bat after that. The Sounds lead 6-4. Their bullpen is quiet right now, so it looks like Lyon Richardson will get the 9th to give the bullpen a full night off. Miller takes a strike from Jones. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Sounds. 4 runs on 7 hits for Jacksonville. The 0-1 pitch, and Miller takes low and in. Miller drove in a run with a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Then he singled in the 5th. 8 of the 9 Sounds have been on base safely tonight. Stephen Jones, a 5.64 ERA for Jacksonville. He deals, and the 0-2 is chopped foul. Jones, a 28-year-old right-hander, pitching for the 17th time with Jacksonville. He was in that group of guys we talked about earlier with Dax Fulton, who was called up in May. 6 different guys in a 6-day span went up for their major league debut. Here's a ball outside to Miller. But Jones did not get into a game for the Marlins. I thought Jones was the guy they referenced in that article. Now I got to find that. It's making me second guess. Here's a ball upstairs to Miller. Next one coming, and Darian Miller pops it up. Foul, and back out of play. Yeah, that was right. Okay, yep, I had it written down correctly. Stephen Jones was selected by the Marlins on May the 7th, but he did not get into a game, and the next day was designated for assignment and later outrighted. So he has not yet made his major league debut, even though he did get a call-up. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on and missed by Miller. Strike 3, 1 away, and the batter is Eduardo Garcia. Who's Hot is brought to you by Hoffman Brothers. Baseball season is in full swing, and Hoffman Brothers is proud to be in your home and at the ballpark. As a proud partner of the Sounds, Hoffman Brothers is here to keep your home running smoothly, no matter the season. Here's the pitch, and Garcia takes low. Hoffman Brothers, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and appliances done right. Learn more at hoffmanbros.com. Sounds have a lot of guys in that category. Here's the 1-0, and that's a high strike. Tyler Black has the night off, but he's reached in 16 games in a row. Jet Williams has a 9-game hitting streak with 2 more hits tonight. Luis Lara hit another homer. Luis Matos has had a big week. Garcia swings and misses. One and two on Eduardo Garcia. Righty on righty, 1 away in the 8th. Sounds lead by 2. And the pitch is way outside for a ball. Garcia singled back in the second. Playing his 15th game at AAA. He loops one foul right side and off the side wall. Eduardo came up when Cooper Pratt got to the big leagues. Pratt had a day off for the Brewers. His offense has been struggling a little bit since he went up. Joey Ortiz was back at short today for the Brewers in that win in Arizona. Here's the 2-2, and Garcia fouls it away. Jet Williams waiting on deck. Stephen Jones, first base side of the rubber, ready one more time. And the 2-2. Garcia chops one right side, wide of first, backhanded by De Los Santos. Flip to Jones, and they just get Garcia. Eduardo was busting it down the line. He can fly, too. He's one of several Sounds on this team with blazing speed. And they just get him on the 3-1 putout. So here's Jet Williams. Stephen Jones got the save for Jacksonville on Thursday in that extra inning game. He retired 3 batters in a row in the bottom of the 10th. He got Matos, Leonard, and Jones. And that was the second 1-run loss the Sounds had. Here's Williams with a line drive to right to base hit. A 3-hit night for Williams. First pitch, fastball, middle in, and he went the other way with it. A 3-for-5 night for Jet Williams, and that includes getting robbed of a home run back in the 6th inning. Williams is some kind of locked in right now, and here's Luis Lara. Lara 1 for 3 with a homer and a walk. Williams stole 2 bases in the first inning. He's not going, and Lara takes inside. After that loss on Thursday, the Sounds then were trailing by a run in the final inning last night in Game 1 of the doubleheader. They were staring at a 3rd straight 1-run loss. Here's the 1-0, and Lara takes inside. And then all of a sudden you're hoping about maybe just a split. You're looking at a potential losing record on the homestand. And Luis Matos, with the team down to its final out, drilled a 2-run double. A 2-run single to win the game. Here's a ball inside to Lara. And then the Sounds win game 2 of the doubleheader, and here they are up by 2 runs late in this game, on the brink of a 3rd straight win and a series win and a winning record on the homestand. 3-0 pitch, and Lara takes a strike. Mark Manfredi is beginning to warm in that Sounds bullpen. Three and one on Lara with 2 outs and Williams at first. Jet gets his lead. He's not going, and Lara takes up an outside, ball 4. So a little 2-out uprising here by the Sounds, and that will give Matos a chance to break this thing open. Matos is 2 for 4 tonight. He's the one who gave the team the immediate lead in that first inning with a 2-run double. 2 on, 2 out, and the pitch. And that one curls in for strike 1. The 0-1, and Matos cracks one left center field, down for a base hit, rolling all the way back to the wall. Williams is in, Lara is in. It's another 2-run double by Luis Matos. He's got a 4 RBI night, and the Sounds lead 8-4. Luis Matos again late in the game delivers with hard contact. That thing was crushed into the gap, and it got all the way back to the wall. And once it did, you knew Lara was going to score from first with his speed and going on contact with 2 down. And now Jefferson Carroll gets one more turn. He's the only guy who has not reached safely tonight for the Sounds. See if he can join the party here. The pitch, and it's inside on Carroll for ball 1. Carroll had a fielder's choice back in the second. He struck out twice and grounded out once. He pops one up. Right side of the infield. De Los Santos over. Right on the top of the line. Makes the catch 1 step into foul territory. And there's a lot more margin for error now after that 2-run double by Luis Matos. It's 8-4 Sounds as Rhys Hines takes strike 1. Hines had a homer back in the 4th. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Former teammates going at it here, and Richardson gets him to swing and miss on a curveball. It's 0-2. A pair of former Louisville Bats and Cincinnati Reds. Richardson steps off the back of the mound for a moment. He's got 7 seconds left on the pitch clock. And with 2 left, he delivers, and Hines strikes out swinging. Richardson gets the first out in the 9th. That's his 3rd strikeout. Richardson has had 41 outings in the big leagues, including 2 this year with Cincinnati, before he ultimately became a free agent and signed with the Brewers and becoming a Sound. Here's Pintar. He takes outside for ball 1. Now the 1-0, and Pintar takes a strike. Jacksonville has Gage Miller on deck, then a left-handed batter in Ethan O'Donnell. Richardson has thrown over 40 pitches. His offering here is outside. And it's 2 balls and a strike. When Richardson finished the game on Tuesday for the Sounds, he threw 50 pitches. Here's his 2-1 now to Andrew Pintar. Nope, timeout called, or at least a step off by Richardson at back of the mound, and he's going to be charged with a clock violation. But for whatever reason, he was not ready, so he will sacrifice that ball to have a little bit of a better offering here on 3-1. The pitch, and it's outside, ball 4. So a 1-out walk. That'll bring up Gage Miller. And Richardson again steps in back of the mound. So here's Miller now. 1 for 2 with a single and a sac fly. And the pitch. That's down low for ball 1. Sounds lead 8-4. That was a huge base hit by Matos in that 8th inning. Totally changes the stress level. Here's the 1-0, and it's off the outside for a ball. Doesn't mean Jacksonville can't still battle back, but right now the tying run would be at the plate if not for that Matos double. Here's a 2-0 now coming to Gage Miller, and that is outside ball 3. And Richardson, you can tell, is getting frustrated. He's missing off the outside a lot here to these right-handed batters. He walked Pintar on, well, technically 4 pitches. There was the automatic ball involved. Now the 3-0, that is in for a strike. He made quick work of Hines, but then walked Pintar. Now trying to come back from down 3-0 against Gage Miller. Here's the next pitch. Swung on, bounce to third. That's a fair ball. It hits the bag, and all hands are safe. Jet Williams was ready to play that on a backhand behind the bag, and the ball hit third base. And that'll be a single for Gage Miller. And Rick Sweet is coming out. He's going to make a pitching change. Mark Manfredi is going to come in and go lefty on lefty with Ethan O'Donnell. Lyon Richardson ends up just north of 50 pitches, right around where he was on Tuesday night. And Manfredi will come in and try to finish the game. 2 on with 1 out. Sounds lead 8-4 in the 9th. And we're back after this on 94.9 The Fan and the Sounds Radio Network. Mark Manfredi comes in, and this becomes a save spot for Manfredi. 2 on with 1 away. The tying run is in the on-deck circle for Jacksonville. They've got Andrew Pintar at second and Gage Miller at first. So Manfredi is going for what would be his second save. And Ethan O'Donnell is being pinch hit for by a righty, Johnny Olmstead. And the first pitch is in for a strike. This is a right-hand heavy Jacksonville team. Manfredi was going to go lefty on lefty with O'Donnell, and David Carpenter counters by summoning Johnny Olmstead. Here's the 0-1 now by Manfredi. The lefty kicks and delivers, and it's taken low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the pitch on the way. Double steal is on. The pitch is strike, and the Sounds will not bother with a throw. Pintar and Miller each swipe a base, and indifference is going to be the call on that. So no stolen base being credited. Here's the 1-2, and Olmstead strikes out swinging. Manfredi trying to make it all a moot point. 2 down. And here is Jared Cerna representing their final chance. 8-4 Sounds, top of the 9th. Manfredi delivers, and Cerna takes inside for ball 1. Cerna 0 for 3, their number 9 hitter. Manfredi, back turn to the hitter, the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 7,242 on hand on this Sunday night. Fireworks coming up. Manfredi, 2 outs in the 9th, looking to finish it. The 1-1. Low and inside. 2-1 on Jared Cerna. Lyon Richardson, his line not final, but 2 1/3 with 3 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Here's the pitch. Cerna swings and misses. And Jacksonville is down to its last strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sounds lead by 4 in the 9th inning. Mark Manfredi in his 11th appearance for the Sounds. Fires 2-2. Swung on, fouled straight back. Manfredi made his Sounds debut about a month ago in Jacksonville. In fact, it was exactly 1 month ago, June the 5th in Jacksonville. He worked twice in that series. His 2-2 pitch to Cerna. Swung on, bounced towards short. Garcia to his left, has it, spins, throws on a hop. Got him, and the Sounds win. Eduardo Garcia makes another terrific play at shortstop. This one ends the game. And the Sounds have won the series, and they make it a winning homestand by taking the final 3 games